Hopeless wage growth. Let's have a look. Good evening, everyone. Florian Heise here, and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. Got my stein of coffee, and I thought we would have a look at this article from the ABC with regards to the Reserve Bank essentially giving up on pay rises for workers and warning that interest rate cuts could backfire. Now, I can't imagine this would be a surprise to any of us who have been following the repeated rate cut after rate cut after rate cut, and just the decline, the crash in consumer sentiment. We can look at it here. This is from the Westpac Economics Melbourne Institute. Look at that dive, guys. That's the problem. We got a boost with the election results, and people thought they were getting free money with the tax cut. But yeah, it's not going to work. I don't think it'll work. The Reserve Bank is worried that it is running out of room to slash interest rates further, and that wage growth is no longer expected to pick up. No longer expected to pick up. I mean, this is concerning. They're always surprised by the economy. So maybe that means that we're going to get the opposite. The opposite of what the Reserve Bank is expecting. Or are they finally admitting reality? Australia's central bank has forecast subdued wage growth of just 2.3% up to the end of 2021. A major reason it was still prepared to ease further if necessary. However, it is also concerned that additional rate cuts might backfire by hurting consumer sentiment, a signal it might sit on its hands for at least a couple of months. Well, I think consumer sentiment is already damaged. I think it is already damaged. I get the feeling that everything we're hearing in the media and the news is trying to prop it up again, lift it up, but people are just experiencing reality. They're experiencing their day-to-day costs going up. They're experiencing their food going up. They're worried. They're hearing about friends who, either business is slowing down, or they know people that have gotten fired, or they're worried. So they're preparing. In its quarterly statement on monetary policy released on Friday, the RBA said the country's $1.95 trillion economy was gradually coming out of a soft patch. Global financial markets seem to have passed a trough on pessimism, it said, painting a more upbeat picture of the world economy than in its previous review in August. Earlier this week, the RBA decided to keep rates on hold to allow for time to assess the effects of the cuts. Maybe they should have done that after the first rate cut, rather than have them in such quick succession. Let me know your opinion about that in the comments, because did it affect your consumer sentiment, guys, when we had one cut after another after another? We've gone from emergency lows of 1.5% to 0.75%. I mean, just think if rates go up, which I doubt they're going to push up. They can't. How many people are going to get trapped into mortgages that are buying now? And what happens if it goes up to 5%, 7%? It'll never go that high again, Florian. Never. Sure. So it follows 3 successive rate cuts in June, July and October to a record low of 0.75. Record low rates expected to drive recovery. They're expected to drive recovery. When we have consumer sentiment plunging, how can that drive your recovery? I still think we need to get government out and back off of businesses. We need to look at special economic regions. We need to look at zonal taxation. We need to look at making power cheaper, allowing smarter investment in the country, making it so it's worthwhile people investing in something other than just house flipping or development. RBA Governor Philip Lowe provided some detail into the board's thinking in October when it cut rates for the third time this year. At the time, he said the RBA was mindful that rates were already very low and that each further cut brings closer to the point at which policy options might come into play. It also took into account the possibility that further easing could unintentionally convey an overly negative view of the economic outlook, or that the usual channels of policy transmission might be less effective at low interest rates. The board still assessed at the time that an even easier policy would be helpful for the economy via a lower exchange rate, higher asset prices, and a boost to household income. Record low rates were one reason the RBA expects economic growth to pick up to 2.75% next year, before lifting 3% in 2021. Both figures are unchanged since its August review. Well, let's see how this property market goes. Let's see how it goes in the spring season. It's heating up. The near-term GDP forecast was trimmed to 2.25% this year, down from 2.5% in August. However, inflation is likely to remain low, and unemployment will stay around current levels over the next couple of years, a case for policy to remain accommodative for a long time. Spare capacity is expected to remain in the labour market over the next couple of years, Dr. Lowe said. Well, how is that signalling a turnaround? I get the feeling that we're heading into a period of, depressed economic growth. Well, we have been since the GFC. Our economy has not grown at the rate it should have. Should have been bigger, much bigger. So consistent with this outlook, wage growth is low and shows little sign of picking up, he added. Faster wage growth will be needed for inflation to be sustainable within the 2 to 3% target range. So, here we go. There's the cash rate. Look how low that is, guys. So inflation underperforms again, but house prices surge. But the closely watched measure of underlying inflation undershot the RBA's target, 2 to 3%, for the 14th straight quarter, the lowest stretch since the series began. The longest stretch since the series began. The central bank said slow wages growth was likely to keep domestic inflation pressures contained, and that inflation is unlikely to hit the bottom of the target range until 2022 at the earliest. Furthermore, the RBA noted the recent surge in home prices, especially on Australia's east coast, saying the turnaround had come sooner and faster than previously expected. Home loan approvals have been increasing lately, while auction clearance rates have been trending higher too. Helped by a pickup in home prices, the RBA expects household consumption to rise gradually, though the timing of the turnaround, the speed of its trajectory, and the influence on the housing market are key uncertainties. The RBA also said that the downturn in the housing market, which began in 2017, had a more persuasive effect on the economy than it's expected. So, guys, where do you think this is heading? Is this a sign that the RBA has given up on hope for wage growth? Well, it sounds like it, doesn't it? If unemployment is expected to stay at this level for years, how is the economy going to be growing that much? How is it going to be growing that much? How are we going to have these apparent apartment shortage? How are we going to have... I've got another video I'll look at later with apparently a boom is coming. A boom is coming. And they're basing this assumptions on the CoreLogic data. And yes, the auction clearance rates have been trending up, but the level of it is questionable. I'm frustrated that this data isn't reported in the range, considering the influence it can have on people. That's something I would advocate for. And I know it's a little bit extra work, but people can do it. And the assumption that record low rates will drive a recovery when, sentiment plunged because of it. Who is going to, who watching this would borrow money and invest it into your business now with everything that's going on? Would you put off doing what you could? Or would you go out there and jump and borrow some money? I know I've been attacking all of our business debts and all of our personal debts, just to decimate them, because you don't want to have that over your head, even though money is so cheap to borrow. Maybe we'll start seeing people, taking money out of Australia, converting it and investing it over in better yielding nations. That's the old trick, isn't it? So guys, let me know what you think. Where do you think it's all going to head? I can't say, a complete lack of confidence in wage growth that seems to be coming through this article is unfounded, but it's concerning that it's taken this long for the RBA to wake up to it. Let me know what you think, guys. Please like, share and subscribe. If you like the content and want to help me produce more, I do have a Patreon and a Subscribe Star where you can make a small donation. I also have a Amazon affiliate link and other methods you can support the channel. Take care, guys. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.